Amidst the vast savannas of Africa, where the sunset dyes the horizon red and the roar of a lion echoes in the night, lies a question that has baffled historians and biologists for centuries. Why did the people here, despite living among countless beasts, never domesticate them, unlike their counterparts in Asia and Europe? Look across Africa, and you see the planet's most powerful species: lions, elephants, rhinos, Cape buffalo, zebras, antelopes, cheetahs, all present. Yet for thousands of years, none of them became a companion to man. Unlike horses in Europe, water buffalo in Asia, or camels in the Middle East, Africa, the cradle of humanity, is the place where humans never truly tamed nature, the origin of the difference. To understand this, we must go back tens of thousands of years, when our ancestors roamed the grasslands. Africa is the cradle of humanity, but it is also the harshest environment. Here, humans were not the dominant predator, but merely a small creature in the immense food chain, constantly surrounded by predators, hundreds of times faster, stronger, and more dangerous. In Asia or Europe, humans faced the cold, the harsh winters, forcing them to invent fire, agriculture, and animal husbandry. But in Africa, nature was too abundant. Food was everywhere. Crops lasted year-round. Hunting and gathering were enough to survive. Without survival pressure, people had no reason to change and no need to develop agriculture or animal domestication. They chose to live in harmony with nature rather than trying to control it. The challenge of African domestication. But even if African people had tried, they would likely have failed, because the animals here did not want to be tamed. According to the research of geographer Jared Diamond, author of the famous book Guns, Germs, and Steel, a work that changed how we view human history and was adapted into a National Geographic documentary, he points out, only 14 large animal species in the world have ever been successfully domesticated by humans, such as cattle, horses, camels, sheep, goats, pigs. And most did not originate from Africa. The reason is that African animals did not meet the 7 criteria for domesticability, does not eat too much or require specialized food, grows fast, suitable for labor or meat, breeds easily in captivity, not overly aggressive, does not panic when encountering humans, has a stable social system, easily accepting a leader, provides tangible benefits to humans. It sounds simple, yet most African species were beyond human control. The zebra, though it looks like a horse, is extremely aggressive. They can bite, kick, or kill a person in an instant. No one has ever successfully bred a truly domestic herd of zebras. Antelopes are too timid, with weak hearts, prone to dying from stress when confined. The Cape buffalo is one of the most dangerous species on the continent, having killed more people than lions. Elephants are intelligent but breed slowly and require vast spaces, making effective captivity impossible. Cheetahs were kept by Egyptian royalty for hunting, but have never bred successfully in captivity. Each species has a reason why domestication was nearly impossible. And that is not the fault of the African people, but due to the biological nature of the animals, ecological and evolutionary factors. The African savanna is a closed ecosystem where every organism is at the peak of its own evolution. The lion, king of the plains, does not need humans. The antelope, the fast runner, survives through speed, needing no human protection. The zebra, with its unique stripes, evolved to avoid the Ts. picea fly, which transmits deadly diseases to horses and livestock. In such an environment, humans could not impose control. Every time they tried to approach, they were met with attack or flight. Furthermore, the African climate is harsh, hot, dry, and diseases are widespread. European horses brought here often died en masse due to the tsetse fly-transmitting sleeping sickness. Agriculture and animal husbandry could not develop sustainably as in temperate regions. All these factors made Africa a natural laboratory, where nature controlled humans rather than the reverse, scientific and historical perspectives. Geneticists suggest that domestication is a form of artificial selection where humans choose gentle, easy to manage, and fast-breeding individuals. But that requires generations of settled life and a stable agricultural society. In contrast, ancient African people lived nomadically, moving with the rainy seasons and water sources, unable to sustain animal confinement for long periods. History also records many groups in Africa did attempt domestication. South Africans tried to use zebras for transport during the colonial era, but failed. The Maasai do keep cattle and cows, but these are species introduced from Asia over 3,000 years ago, not native. This shows that African people were not passive. It is simply that nature here was too powerful to be controlled. The human significance. But if we look deeper, we realize perhaps the African people did not need to tame nature in the way the rest of the world did. In Europe and Asia, humans fought for survival, having to control land, water, and crops, gradually separating themselves from nature. But in Africa, where people were born within nature, they chose to live in harmony. The Maasai, the San, or the Hadza, some of the planet's oldest tribes, still live by hunting and gathering. They view every animal as part of the life cycle. No one is the owner of anyone else. Domestication to them was not victory, but a breakdown of balance, and seen through a modern lens that is not underdevelopment, but a profound philosophy of life. When people stop trying to control nature, they learn how to respect and live with it. Today, as the world industrializes, we have domesticated almost everything, from animals and plants to our very environment. But what is the cost? Disappearing forests, collapsing ecosystems, and millions of extinct species. Perhaps the African people, those who could not domesticate the animals, are the ones who understand nature best. Their savannas still have lions, leopards, antelopes, zebras, existing just as they did thousands of years ago. And perhaps that is the most wondrous thing. Humans do not need to defeat nature, but only need to learn to live in concert with it. Because sometimes non-domestication is truly the peak of understanding.